You know how they say when God allows you to go through the storm, a really good blessing is on the other side of it. That's what I'm really hoping. That's what I'm really hoping. Because what the hell? What the hellio? What the heliante? Hold on.
Where are you going, Mommy?
Baby, give me a minute. Please. Okay. I don't know if this lighting is good, but I needed to vent. I have a lot of other videos that I needed to post, but I wanted to go ahead and post this one because this is really raw on my mind. And, you know, getting fired is never, like, a good thing. Sometimes getting fired is a bittersweet feeling to a lot of people because it's almost a sense of relief in a way from certain issues you may have been dealing with. Also, once again, maybe it's just God closing a chapter, closing a door that needs to be closed. So I'm not gonna lie, this makes me feel quite heavy when I already was going through it. It's just like, how much more, like what else is good? How much more bad is gonna happen regarding my finances? You've taken everything from me, you know, regarding my finances, right? Literally every single job that I had last year is now, I've been fired from officially. I had 3 jobs and now it's down to 0. But I'm going to explain because I still technically have the stadium job. So yeah, that's the final job I had left, even though I'm only pulling in like 1 shift a month at this point because we only work big events. And so I still can work there. I just won't be working under the section that I've been working at for the past year. And if I could really give you a definitive answer why I have been fired, to be honest with you, I don't know. Nobody really gave me a reason. And some people may be like, you know, they can't do that. They can't just fire you and not give you an answer. The thing is, because he texted me, it's my manager. He just said he won't be moving forward with me, you know. And I could text back and just be like, why? Like, what happened? What did I do wrong? Can you give me a definitive reason? Like, blah, 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 blah. And I could do that, but the thing is, like, I don't want to. Because I was telling my mom the last event that we worked an AC/DC concert. The last event we worked, I kind of knew that there was tension between me and my manager. And I want to say his name so bad. It's not like it matters. He has a very generic name. And it's not like, you know, I don't get views and, you know, this and that. Like, it doesn't matter, but I just don't like to do stuff like that. I don't want that to be a reflection on me and whatever. But let me just tell you guys. We worked that event, like there was tension with my manager and I, especially on that event. And he is a type of person where people are looking at him. So the people that he's over, he treats them like crap. But the people who are looking at him are a reflection, like his team is a reflection of him, and the people over him go to him when there's an issue. Once again, nobody ever explained any type of issue. There was never a conversation. That's something my mom mentioned. She was like, there's never a conversation or a pull to the side talk like, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. You have 1 more strike, or, you know, like, this is what's going on. And if you keep doing this, then I'm going to have to let you go. It was genuinely a no warning kind of thing. And I'm so tired of these no warning let goes of jobs, like no warning. And then it's so hard to get another job, you know what I'm saying? But I'm so tired of these like no warning like getting fired, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times you be wondering what you did wrong. A part of me can say like, what did I do? Like on the flip side, a part of me can say, what did I even do wrong? Right? I always ever followed the rules. I always ever did what I was supposed to do. If anything, we always did above and beyond what we should be doing. You know what I'm saying? Working 10 to 12 hour shifts with a 25-minute break. Yes, I said that right. A 10-hour shift a lot of times with a 25-minute break. That's it. That's it. Pressure the entire shift. Him yelling at you, you know, like, if I really wanted to go there, I have PTSD from working over there. Like, if I'm being really honest here, thank you. You know, I really should have just not continued on my own, but my mom also works there. So that's the thing. My mom works in that section too. We both work in the same section. And if it were up to me and not my mom, like, I would have either moved to the other section, at the other side, which is basically the same thing, but way less strict. The other guy gives you the other manager on the exact opposite side. It's the same exact thing, but the rules are so much different over there. He's not yelling at you. You have longer breaks. It's so much more relaxed over there. Over on our when they had us work over there that one time, it blew my mind. It literally shattered my mind. It blew my mind how different the leadership over there is compared to the other side. It really like changed my brain chemistry as far as how I view our side of working, because I'm like, our manager's way too freaking hard on us. For what? For what? I don't know. Maybe if maybe I could ask that guy on the other side if I can be on the other side. But honestly, that will probably mean that I would still be in association with my manager, and I really just. The thing is, at the stadium, there are a lot of different places that you can work. You don't want to get fired from if you're fired from the company, then you're just fired, right? I was just let go from his section, and he just fired me over a text, which it's like I could still work there, you know what I'm saying? So it's like technically I still have the job, I just can't. And like technically it's like a privilege to work in that section, because during the Cowboys season, they have football players that come through, and they you can see football players up close, you can see celebrities up close. It has been a wonderful experience, the experience that I experienced at the time, but it almost is kind of like a been there, done that thing. I really almost don't even care to do it anymore, if I'm being completely honest with you, especially the pressure that comes with having to be there in the first place. Like, okay, I get it. I met football players, I met celebrities. I don't need to experience that anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like, I'm not a big sports fan. I'm not really big into football players and all, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a big sports fan anyway. And so it does nothing for me to really be there. Only thing is, once again, the pressure that is put on you with my manager. He puts so much pressure. He be yelling at you and all this and all that. And I don't know. But like I said, I think it is kind of a relief. Even myself, we have an event coming up Friday, and I was like, boom, he's going to probably text the group chat and kind of say like, oh, you know, well, I just felt in my spirit and in my soul. I really did. I was like, it's crazy how I really felt in my spirit that, you know, he was going to tell me not to come back, and he did just that. Like, it's just crazy. But once again, there's no definitive reason. The only thing that I can tell you what happened last shift is, so he was telling me, and he was kind of telling people like, oh, they're cracking down on us, so he was already crazy and strict, but he was like, they're cracking down on us, da 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 da, so we have to kind of crank it up a notch, blah blah. I don't know. So he was like coming for me for my pants being not long enough. I tell you guys, I'm tall. I'm literally 6'3". It is very hard for me to find pants that fit me, just in general, especially as someone who is in the process of losing weight. You know what I'm saying? It is very hard for me to find pants that fit all the way down. I have to dang near be sagging if I want my pants to go all the way down, and they do. It's not like the pants are just like freaking flooding completely. Like, it's just, that shit. And we wear black socks, and we wear black shoes, and so everything else was, then he was saying something because my button wasn't buttoned all the way at the top. Okay, I buttoned it. Fix the problem. Okay. And from that point, at that point, I just got really quiet when he was trying to talk. Like, he was talking to me about what we're doing that night and the badges we need to look out for. And I remember just kind of being very quiet because I really didn't want to give him an attitude. I didn't want to talk. I gotta open the door for my son. But I was kind of saying, like, I chose to just stay quiet and not say anything because I actually didn't want to say anything. I wanted to respond and be like, just, but I never really, truly, ever really lost my composure. And I'm not that type of person anyway. I'm not the type of person to talk back, especially to my managers. I know that there are people who have done it and this and that, and people who have talked back and still haven't gotten fired and this and that. And I guess it really depends on the job. Some jobs need you more than others. So some jobs tolerate people's behavior more than others. I knew that this section was more of a privilege. So I remember just kind of staying quiet. And he was talking, well, you need to look out for this badge and blah, 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 blah. He was saying kind of like the thing that they usually say each day when we go in. And I remember just kind of crossing my arms and just being quiet and not just being super friendly. You know what I'm saying? I just suddenly became not super friendly, but I just was to myself and very shut off because I'm not gonna lie, I also was kind of having a bad day. I'm not the type of person where I have a bad day and I take it to work. The best thing that I do is I just stay quiet and just do my job. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then another thing that happened was, once again, since like lunchtime happened and I asked when we're going to lunch. That's it. I asked, when is lunch? Stay with me. So he let me go to lunch first and all this stuff. Then another thing, which the other guy was doing the same thing. We were on this rail. We were standing by the doors. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying there's kind of a rail there. And maybe I was kind of leaning on the rail a little bit. Even though the entire shift I wasn't. Just that one time I was. He said something about it. And then I stopped doing that the entire time. You caught it. You saw it. I stopped doing it. And even though it wasn't like I was completely sitting down or just doing any, I just was slightly leaning on the rail, which everybody was basically doing a variation of that. People were leaning on the wall. You have to do what you got to do when you're working like 10 hours straight and you're only getting a 25-minute break. Your body is breaking down. And truly just standing there is really, really tough. You know what I'm saying? And you only know that if you have done the same thing yourself. If you haven't had to work that long with barely any break, you wouldn't understand what I'm trying to say. Even if you do work on your feet a lot, but if you do get your legal amount of breaks, you still don't know what I'm talking about. I just feel like I wish I was that type of person that was bold enough to complain to HR and just really make something out of this, because it's like you're treating your team like crap. And honestly, the people who do decide to, he's going to recruit more people because that's what he does. He'll walk around the stadium, he'll see some people, he'll recruit them, and the list goes on and on. And you know what else is funny? I just want to throw this out there. We started as a team of, I don't even know, 10 or something. It dwindled down to like a team of 3. You know, like my mom, I, and like these 2 other guys, which one of them, or even both of them, I don't think they're going to return. We'll see. They may or may not return, even them too, because they've had issues with him as well, multiple times, you know. And it's so easy to say that the problem is me when, to be honest with you, the problem is my manager, truly. The problem is my manager in this situation. However, I will take my responsibility that there was tension between my manager and I. There was tension. Even though all I ever did was do my job. If I'm doing something that you don't agree with, then tell me and I will correct the problem. If I'm continuing doing it, then you tell me this is why you're about to get fired. Then don't come back. This is why, blah, 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 blah. You just want to be weird and text me literally like 2 weeks later and say you're not coming back. Like I said, I could ask for an explanation, but I really don't want to even deal with him no more, actually. I don't even want an explanation. I don't even care anymore. You know what I'm saying? I kind of understand why, because there was tension, but is tension a reason to truly fire somebody? Because there's tension. There's always tension in the workplace. You know what I'm saying? If anything, you're lucky if you have good employees, good managers, this and that. You know how many jobs I've had where there was tension with the manager and the employees and they literally didn't like each other? Do you know how many times that happened? But once again, when you're working a job where they really actually need you and hiring more people is more effort that they don't want to put in, then they're just gonna deal with the tension, you know. But in this situation, he ain't gotta deal with you, so it's just like, bye, you know what I'm saying? Like, he don't have to deal with that, you know. And I just wish that I almost wish that I could have walked away first. I guess that's what I'm really trying to say. I wish I would have just said, I'm not continuing. But the only reason why I was going with this because my mom was doing it. And the thing is, he texted my mom and said, you know, I would like to continue with you, but I know that you and your daughter work together, so let me know if you don't continue and we can move forward there. But so he wanted my mom to continue, you know. But you know what's funny? He wants my mom to continue because he knows that my mom is the type of person who will work to death. Like, I don't know how to explain that, but she's almost the type of person, and I don't want to say that about my mom, and I don't want to say too much into this, but I remember my mom telling me, even the last time, she was like, I felt like I was about to pass out. I had to tell him I was about to pass out so that I could at least sit down, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to go into too much context other than that, but that's basically the context. Is my mom is willing to work through pressure, you know, about to pass out, all these things. My mom is willing to be the model citizen, you know, A+ worker. Once again, news flash, every worker is not going to be an A+ worker, and that's what he's looking for. He's looking for people who are willing to go above and beyond. And it's crazy because I was doing that too. It's crazy because I don't like to go above and beyond with jobs because you're not getting paid more. You're not getting a promotion. You don't get a thank you. My mom has never gotten a thank you from him. My mom has never gotten any type of appreciation, anything. You know, if my mom is someone you want to continue with, like I said, she has never gotten a thank you. She has never gotten appreciation. She has never gotten a conversation that you're doing a good job. She has never gotten anything. They want you to be above and beyond, and yet, for what? Break down your body. You have health issues. You know, you don't get any breaks, like a small break out of a huge shift. And for what? For what? To work yourself to death, to deal with tension, to deal with anxiety, overstimulation, overworked, So yeah, it was getting to the point where his team, so, and the thing is, his team was just shrinking, like, major. Like, most of the people that we started with, most of them were gone. So he's gonna have to recruit an entirely new team. And you know what's so funny? Like, he might keep one or two people. If there's anyone I know he might keep this one guy, and he might keep this older lady. And so yeah, they don't show up all the time either. And that's the thing. It's on our mercy in a way, because he's relying on us showing up anyway. So a lot of people will just say, no, I'm not coming in today, da 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 da. Me and my mom were at every event. Every one we came. Well, whatever. You know what I'm saying? He may, if there's anyone I'm thinking about, he may keep two of them. My mom was another one, but my mom isn't gonna continue. But out of like 10, 11 of us, I can't remember how many there was, it's down to two. It's down to two. And most of them just left on their own. They chose to not continue. They found better jobs, blah, 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 blah. And I'm happy for them. Because who wants to work in those type of conditions anyway? Just the mental and the verbal. I've never had a manager yell at me and scream at me. I remember he was getting on our butts about the water bottles. Guests are not supposed to enter into the stadium with water bottles or beer bottles or whatever. They're supposed to pour it in a cup, right, at the bar. So there were hundreds of people walking by. Once again, you didn't see what I have been doing. I have been telling plenty of people don't walk in with a water bottle, but you see one person walk in with a water bottle, then you're yelling at us, screaming at us. They're supposed to look at the person with the water bottle. And I'm not being dramatic about this. Pure yelling. But yeah, just basically like, I forgot what I was saying. It's just crazy, you know, like, I have never had a manager be so like tense. And I've had bad managers, and I've had tense managers, trust me. But I'm just like, it is truly like, you know, and my mom can really attest to this. I'm not going to put my mom on the video or anything, but my mom can attest to it as well. We have had conversations. I've had conversations with everybody that I've worked with under him, and they all have said something complaining about him at some point or another. Okay, a manager, you're going to complain about a manager. I get it, but typically the things that people say, like, why is he so hard on us? He be literally yelling at us. You can't talk crazy to us. He had a full-blown argument with a whole nother employee that wasn't under him in front of his own manager. So, because he has people over him. You know what I'm saying? He has multiple people. You know, there's like multiple layers of managers and, like, you know, higher ups and things like that. And they just kind of walk around and this and that. So I get that has a lot of eyes on him, but I just feel like it's really crazy. And it's funny how they'll let go of someone like me instead of really investigating what's going on with him and why he can't keep people and blah, 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 blah. And other managers higher than him have actually seen things in front of their faces of him get into it with other people and things like that. And it's just like crazy. And you know, if we really want to go there, we can talk about the fact that there have been times where he has been sitting down on his phone half the time. Can we really talk about those moments where we're sitting here slaving, sitting here, standing, dealing with the people, blah, 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 and I'll see him sitting somewhere on his phone? And you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe he's talking to managers. No, he's swiping on dating apps, swiping right on everybody. I see what he does on his phone. He be on dating apps. You know what I'm saying? And not to mention, he be flirting with the young girls there. This man is in his 40s, bald-headed. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to flirt with the young girls. I peep it. There is this one girl in particular that's his favorite that he's always talking to. She's not under his team, thank God. She's actually a little supervisor herself, but she's around my age, and he be flirting with her and stuff. Like, we can talk about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about some of the inappropriate things you said to me. But see, like I said, I am not that type of person. I really wish I was. You know, I really wish I was. And it's like, who would I even complain to about it? You know what I'm saying? I just feel like I just don't even want to deal with it no more, and I just want to move on anyway. But I could honestly go there. You know what I'm saying? The times he has been disappeared for an hour or two, you know, like we're sitting here once again dealing with people, and he's gone for an hour or two. Where'd you go? You know what I'm saying? It's so funny how you'll take a break for like an hour, but everybody else has to take a break for 25 minutes tops. When I know that you could allow us to take longer breaks easily. You just want to be super strict for no reason but to break people down. And the truth is, we're all adults working under here. Older adults. I was the youngest one there. Older adults. They left because they ain't trying to deal with that. You can't treat people like this. You know what I'm saying? And expect them to stay. Except for that older lady who gets away with murder because she's older and her daughter is higher above him in that part. She probably can be where she is because her daughter is like one of the top people there. And so he probably has to deal with her crap. You know what I'm saying? And then the other guy, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know. I think that they, whatever. But there's a lot of people who just, it's kind of like a high turnover job, you know, like you realize, nah, like this job is doing too much, like it's not worth what you're getting paid, that part. We were getting paid $14 an hour for the longest. $14 an hour for 10 to 12 hour shifts, sometimes 8 hours, okay? Sometimes 8, anywhere from 8 to 10, sometimes it's even been 12-hour shifts, especially on the cowboy season, okay? Just keep that in mind. $14 an hour. $14 an hour. That paycheck would look like $100, or it would be like $98 or something. It just depends on how many hours I worked. So if it was like maybe 8 hours, maybe like $98. You know, like, yeah. That's the crazy part about it. You having to stand here, break our bodies down, deal with people, flag people down for this and that, you know what I'm saying? Just all the things we've had to do under pressure, under fear, literal fear mongering for $14 an hour, no raises, you know. And if there was a raise, the whole company got a raise. It wasn't that, oh, you get a raise because you've been doing good, blah, blah, blah. No, the whole company eventually got a raise. So we went from making $14 an hour to $16 an hour. So now we make $16 an hour. That is still not wonderful money at all. A lot of people would laugh at $16 an hour. Hell, people laugh at $14 an hour. Where can you work for $14 an hour and being an actual full-grown adult? You know what I'm saying? One of my other managers, he was like, this ain't your bread and butter job, is it? I'm like, no, this is almost like a fun job. And it really isn't even fun. I really don't even want to be here. He was like, don't worry about it. And it really got to that point for me. It really got to that point for me where it really was just like, I ain't even finna worry about it no more. I'm not even finna bust my butt over this and deal with, you know what I'm saying? I have anxiety issues, heart issues, things like that. Like, I am not finna deal with this and sit here and stress myself over a job that's paying $14 an hour for the longest. They only bumped it up to $16 an hour that last shift. And like I said, the whole company got a raise. So it wasn't like, oh, you got a raise for doing, and that's the part. Even if I was an outstanding employee, it wouldn't matter. I would not get a thanks. I would be yelled at just like everybody else. I would be kept there, but for what? What's the cost? For what? For being able to maybe see some football players during the Cowboy season, but even then, it doesn't like it matters. All they do is just walk by. Like, it's not like you can actually talk to them or get anything out of that, you know? So, I don't know what to tell you. Same with celebrities. You may see celebrities, but, you know, and it's like, I've seen them. Who cares? They're all people. It doesn't really matter to me. It's really not that deep. Sure, I've had some interesting experiences. I always wanted to make a video and talk about it, and I may not. I don't know, but it's like, cool, that happened, cool. Like, I really, newsflash, there's a whole nother side that experiences the same exact thing. They actually get to see the Cowboys and the Cowboys cheerleaders, and they see celebrities on that side too. So once again, I could, if I wanted to be that type of person, I could probably most likely ask that guy if I could work on that manager, if I could work on that side, because he's short-staffed. And not to mention the short-staffed issue we've had, that part as well. We have been short-staffed for the longest time, never had help. It would be like 4 of us over there, and we would still have to do the most. Not to, like I said, the many times my mom and I showed up when everybody would call off and da-da-da-da. Nobody has been there every single time except for me and my mom. My mom and I have been there every single time except for the Kendrick Lamar concert that just happened while we were on vacation. Other than that, yeah. So I could sit here and I can continue to talk, but at the end of the day, I'm really just trying to say, like, it sucks to be fired from something. Like, it doesn't matter, even if it was like a relief and, you know, this position was making you feel miserable. It still kind of sucks, especially for someone like me who has been through it lately, been through being fired from my great job. Well, not fired, but my contract ended, so it really wasn't that I was fired though. But let go from my good job, my amazing job. You know, dealing with the storm. April was such a horrible month. You know what I'm saying? And went on vacation. I came back from vacation, and I've been trying my best to get myself together, plan out my life, do my work, things like that. And then, like, this is another this is another thing that hits me. And I just really do ask, like, what is going on? Like, why are so many things happening when I'm trying to move forward? I'm trying to set goals. I'm trying to be in a better place in life, and just, you know? And that's always how it is when you're really trying to pull yourself up and make something work. That's the story of my life. You are trying to make something of yourself. You're trying to pull yourself up, and it's just like so next to impossible. It is extremely, extremely difficult. And I know that life isn't this hard for everybody. And I'm not saying life in general, because I know, like, my life is probably, like, I know there's people who really go through some stuff, but I'm mainly talking about the financial aspect. Like, you're trying to keep a job, you're trying to work multiple jobs, you're trying to move out, you're trying to do these things. Is it this hard to make it? Why is it so freaking hard to make it? You try to get another job before your other job lets you go. You can't get another job. I've documented that whole entire experience of me trying to get other jobs, blah, 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 blah. At least something good came out of it. I was able to buy a car, but I was planning to move out. I was planning to take care of some more things, and, like, but newsflash, there is a new plan that I'm doing. I am working side hustle stuff, and I have been making money that way. So I did want to kind of mention that, like, I am still making money. I do still have work. I'm that type of person where I am just not going to give up. I'm What am I'm already living with my parents anyway. Like, you know, I have to keep going. You know what I'm saying? So I do have work that I have been doing, and money that I have been making, and I have been getting, you know, I've been getting in the routine of things and this and that, and then I get this message, and then it's just like, but it's not like it really mattered. I guess that's what I'm really trying to say. What I'm really trying to say is, ultimately, I can still work at the stadium. Maybe it's a good thing that I don't have to see him anymore, you know, and we can just move forward. I can be in another section, blah, 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 blah. But yes, something like that happening is not a fun thing. It did make me feel something, but it's probably for the best. If I'm being completely honest with you, it is probably for the best. You know, it is probably for the best. There has been tension for a long time between him and I, and he didn't, you know, it's a thing where he doesn't need me to be there and I don't need him to be there. So it's easy to just let me go. Like some jobs where they need you, you know what I'm saying, probably wouldn't have ended out that way, but they would have to actually give you a reason to fire you, you know. But as far as this goes, you know what? It is what it is. And that's all I can say. That's all I can do. I literally can't cry about this, be upset about it, because it's just like, what is that gonna do? That's not gonna solve anything. The only thing you can do is move forward when something bad happens. All you can do is move forward. You can't look at the past and say, well, I should have did that, and I wish that would have happened. All you can do is just move forward and decide what you're gonna do tomorrow and with the rest, you know. And yeah, I'm so glad I made a video because this definitely made me feel better. I needed to feel better to continue working my jobs, you know, working from home. So I'm so glad I made this video. Like I said, I have other videos but I've been meaning to put out. I just haven't been able to because I've been so busy with stuff. But yeah, I'm so glad that I was able to vent because I don't have anybody to talk to. And life has been lifing lately, for sure. Like life has been lifing. But all right. You know, guys, I just wish something good could happen to me, something financially good. I can be in my own place, my own space, and finally be independent and I just wish something good could happen to me. And not only something good could happen to me, but I can keep it. I'm not even asking to get to the next level, the next level, the next level like people do. They're just able to just move up and up and up. I just want to get something and be able to kind of keep it for a long time. For example, my job that I had, I knew it was a temporary job anyway. But let's just say that the pay was good, the job was great. I wish I could have been able to just keep that and stay there for years. But I'm going to continue to trust God and hope that something greater is out there for me, something better, whatever, because it's incredibly tiring. It's incredibly tiring. I'm tired of the rejection, the disappointment, and just things not working out. And no matter how hard you try, it's not that I'm sitting around doing nothing. I am always trying, and just doors are always closing in my face. And it had got so bad at one point in my life. I remember being like, when I was 27, I really thought to myself, I was like, if it has someone actually cursed my life? Like, have I been cursed? And I'm not even exaggerating or being funny about it, because everything I was trying to do in my life, everything I was trying to pursue, everything I was trying to make happen just didn't work out. Everything just didn't work out. And if something halfway worked out, it was taken from me very quickly. You can't even have enough time to enjoy it because it's taken from you. And I don't want to experience, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of having something good, but only for like a few months. What am I supposed to do with that? And I'm so triggered by that anytime I do get something good, I always consider like, okay, you know, this isn't going to last long, so I'm going to make sure. So that's kind of what happened when I had my job. I was like, boom, I have a really good job, so I'm going to go ahead and save up for a car because I know I'm not going to be able to sustain this. I know it's going to be taken from me again, you know, and I'm going to be back to struggling. So let me at least get a car and let me get some things out of this job. Like, that's how I treat being in a good position now. I just use it as fuel to help me when I'm struggling again. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of struggling. Like, truly, I really do try. I try. That's the best thing that I can say. I try to get myself together. I really do. You know, I stopped smoking years ago. I got baptized. I am on a weight loss journey. I have improved myself in so many aspects of my life, but it's just the financial thing, like trying to get myself together is just doesn't want to happen. And even when it does happen, it doesn't stay. It's tiring. It's tiring. I really just want to finally say, like, good luck to the people that he recruits to work with him for this new season. Good luck to you guys. It's so funny. If I knew then what I know now, I would have probably, I'm gonna say this, it was a cool, I wasn't there for the money, okay? Because you don't make more money being in his set. Like, it's really just a perk more than anything. You're not making any extra money being in his section. The only perk is, like I said, you get to see celebrities and football players, but been there, done that, like I said. So that's the only appeal of working on his team. Other than that, you're going to be dealing with a lot of stress. You're going to have him yell at you because he's not a great manager. He's going to be yelling at you. He's going to be he's very animated. So he does stuff like this and he's like, oh my God, no, and all this stuff. He yells at people like the civilians, and he's rough with other people, other civilians who paid to be there. He's rough with them. And it's so funny, like I said, it's so funny how nobody sees this. No higher ups really see it because he's very good at hiding it. But you will see it as working under him. You will see all the things, and there's nothing you can really do about it unless any of you are actually brave enough to unless any of you guys are actually brave enough to speak up to someone about it. But just know you need to be on your A game if you're going to speak up about it. I was probably not the one to do so because I know I wasn't on my A game, but I did give my best for the most part. I just feel like, is it too much to say that no one's going to be on their A game 24/7, and that's just what it is? And those who are, once again, you don't get a thanks, you don't get anything out of it. All you do is continue to get stressed out and pressure and yell at every once in a while. So it was cool when at the time, not his management, but just the experience itself. Sure, it was cool, but working at many parts of the stadium are cool. There's other areas to work at. I'm glad, I have to really talk about this, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad actually I'm not returning because I wanted to quit. Actually, I really wanted to not return anyway. So I just wish that I would have quit first. I wish that, but unfortunately I'm going through things in life and like, I can't afford to do things like that. But truly, if there's any kind of way I could have just quit first or not, you know what I'm saying? And once again, I just do feel like if me and my mom were not working together, I would have not showed up a long time ago. But my mom and I were working together. She would always try to pep me up and say, well, it's okay. We're going to hang in there and blah, 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 blah. But even my mom would complain about him. You can't say nothing to his face. You can't have a conversation with him. Like, I'm done with this. I don't even want to think about him no more. He's in the past. It is what it is. But good luck to the people who choose to work with him. You're in for something. And you probably won't be able to really last. Not only will you may not last, but you may not want to be there for long. You'll be like, being in any other part of the stadium is way less pressure. And you know what I'm saying? And it's just like I'm saying, when you're working a job where you're making $14 an hour, you don't give a crap about that job, especially when it's a job you're only doing like once or twice a month. Like, and you just and I'm driving an hour out of town to go, you know what I'm saying? Like, it really is really not worth it. And let me just tell you, most of the people there are just kind of like not giving a F. Most of the people that work at the stadium couldn't work with him. And I'm just being honest with you. They would have to be a new hire because most of the people would not have the patience to work with him the way, you know what I'm saying? It would not be worth it. They would just move somewhere else. The only thing is, a lot of people work outside, and I don't want to work outside. Now, there's inside places that you can work, but I do not want to work outside. I barely even want to work at the stadium anymore, period. Like, it's tolerable that I only do it maybe once a month, but other than that, yeah. So